Yo guys, welcome back to another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. Like I said, today we're going to be looking at the new gacha that comes out with the main story episodes 48 through 51. Yesterday I went over what the units do really briefly because there was, how do I put this? There was so much news. I really don't like making videos that are like 15 to 20 minutes long. You know, it's not enjoyable for people to sit down and watch, and I don't really like sitting down talking for that long about, you know, specific just one topic when you should know by now I like talking shit. You know, I'll talk about loads of different things. Anyway, right, so before we get into the video, again, you guys smashed that like goal that I set for the last video, and I appreciate every single fucking one of you for it. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I'm doing my best to make sure that YouTube realizes I'm making videos again. I'm gonna have to start making more videos a week. I did cut down to 2 videos, but I'm probably gonna have to make some gameplay content anyway, because you guys said you want gameplay content back. So for the minority of you that will watch it, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I will be releasing them when I can. I might make 7th Zone videos, like one video for both 7 zones, rather than make it like a video each, because no one's going to watch 2 videos on 2 separate 7 zones. But it's all good. It's all good. I'll do it. Hopefully this helps YouTube remember that I'm back here and I can get my views up back to what they used to be. But you guys that hitting that like button, as much as you did, like I did notice a huge difference. I have to say thank you so much. Same like goal for this video. If you guys want to help me get to 50 likes, I really appreciate it. If you don't like the video, obviously do not like the video. If you do, hit that like button for me. Anyway, let's get into it. So 2 unit banner, we have to actually discuss the fact that it's only 2 units on a banner, which means your chances of pulling, you know, okay, you're less. How do I put it? I'm trying to think of a way to word this. This is why I should script my videos, but I don't. There's only 2 units on the banner, which means the rates for you getting a featured unit are shared between 2 units rather than 3. So it's easier for you to MLB or potentially MLB a unit that you want, which makes 2 unit banners usually pretty good depending on what the units are. So now we're going to look at the units, and thank you to my man Yoko who hooked me up with these amazing slides as usual. Literally, I finished recording the news video and Yoko was in my DMs like, yo, LD, here, have these. I was like, yo, bro, you sexy fucker, you. Anyway, so let's look at the Ryu. I'm sorry, I got a bit of a tickle in my throat. It's, I don't know what it is. It might be allergies or some shit. It's not COVID. We don't make that joke. That's not COVID, I promise. I don't go nowhere for it to be COVID. Anyway, so Ryu, dark magic attack type. The stats, as usual, are going to be good. I don't think that's the highest magic attack stat I've seen, but we all know Ryu hits fucking hard anyway, right? But the skills is where we really want to look. So the SA is an AoE ultra dark magic attack, ultra on guard rate, and great temporary magic boost with a strength, magic, agility, physical resist, and magic resist minus 50% for 1 turn. Okay, so it's going to do a bit of damage, but all of those debuffs in one. I mean, I'm a little bit bummed out that it's only for 1 turn, which means, I mean, because she's a wargame unit, you're not really going to be setting up to have this and then extend the buff. It's a little bit harder to do that. Then again, in wargame, we're talking turn 3, turn 4. No, yeah, turn 3, turn 4, you get your SA. Extending the buff, I don't really think is that important by that turn, I guess. Unless you're against a stall team, in which case, you know, it's going to be a pain in the ass anyway. Skill 1 is an AoE fast, strength, magic, agility, physical resist, magic resist, minus 30% for foes and allies. Buffs all of those for 30% for 1 turn. This is an issue for me. This is an issue. All of those, yeah, it's a really powerful buff debuff combo, right? And it has a fast modifier, which means, fuck, that's going to do a lot of work. But it only lasts for 1 turn. And that's an issue for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I was speaking to a couple of people yesterday, and there was like the potential of setting up a turn 1 nuke team using this skill 1 and then following up with 3 attackers and stuff, which is cool, but like, you're not guaranteed to keep it, and you're not guaranteed that that's gonna do it for you. 30% obviously across the board to keep it balanced is cool, and it does a lot. But given that it's wargame, I don't know how to judge this, because doing it for 1 turn seems like it limits the character like a lot. But doing it for 2 turns could potentially, in the right scenarios, be really fucking powerful and maybe a little bit too powerful, if that makes sense. I don't think it's bad. I think we've taken a step back a little bit in the percentage there, but then given this is a question of is it broken or is it not? Based on the percentage debuffs and buffs, sorry, I don't think those are broken, but how many are being applied in one turn, that's really fucking strong. And then you balance it even more to the negative by having it in one turn. I don't know how I can... I'm undecided whether I think this is strong or not. Like, obviously, like, and I mean overall, you can point out different parts like I just did and say, like, the buffs and debuffs are balanced because they're only at 30%. But then say there's so many of them that it kind of is pretty strong. I mean, in one turn, it buffs your agility and debuffs their agility. In Wargame alone, that's fucking stupidly strong. I can see that they've tried to keep it balanced, is what I'm saying. It makes it hard to judge how important this skill is going to be in the overall meta of Wargame. Anyway, I've spent too long on one skill. Skill 2 is an AoE fast, high dark magic attack, ultra unguard rate, and self dark attack damage plus 80% for 4 turns. Adds 4 additional actions of a low dark magic attack. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit silly for me. She lowers dark resistance by the highest that we have in game so far. So 40% would be the highest we have for dark element resistance debuff, but it's on an additional, which means you cannot use her as a sack unit, which means you need to keep her in for more than one turn to be able to do this, because she'll apply it that turn, but she won't cast the additional until the next turn. This is a problem. Excuse me. Immediately means she cannot be used as a sack unit. I mean, you can probably still use her skill 1 as a sack ability, like, you know, keep her low level, get off that buff debuff combination, and then let the rest of your team just fucking fly through. But keep in mind, it's only for one turn. So how useful of a sack buff debuff scenario is that going to create for you? Like, you have to make sure that you're putting out enough damage in that one turn before she goes or dies that, you know, this skill 1 becomes, you know, you guys can't actually see. Sorry, I just realized you guys can't see my cursor, but it is, oh my God, I've zoomed out. I've zoomed in, sorry. All right. You know, it's a tricky scenario. It's a very fine balancing act, but it kind of means that she's not going to be a sack unit regardless of what happens. And I didn't explain that very well. In fact, I think I missed it in yesterday's news video, but it is in the pinned comments. Finally, skill 3 is a single target high dark magic attack, ultra penetration rate, temporary great magic boost. There's no additional percentage modifiers on there like other units would have, but it does have a great temporary modifier, which means it's probably still going to hurt a bit. I'm not too... See, the thing is, with these skills that don't have the additional percentage modifiers, but have the temporary modifiers, I find hard to gauge. I feel like other people would need to come in here. If you guys can tell me or understand or know and explain to other people or for other people how much damage this skill 3 would do in the comments, that would be very much appreciated. I will pin it, or I'll copy it and pin it myself so I can add other notes later on, but I will definitely credit you. Anyway, passives. When countering, instead of attacking, it extends status debuffs by 1 turn. Okay, so this is what makes up for the 1 turn skill 1. So the problem is, oh, okay, it doesn't matter who she, because it says foes, right? So it doesn't matter who she counters. She can counter 1 enemy and it will extend debuffs for all of them. Okay. So you could probably still make her a sack unit as long as she gets a counter off that turn. So, this brings her, okay, this brings her back, in my book, this brings her back up a little bit, which means you can still probably try and use her as a sack unit for skill 1 in your wargame teams. And when I say sack unit, I mean you keep them low level intentionally to die, just to get off that 1 skill and then quickly bring in another assist buff or debuff for your team. Light resist plus 35%, magic, agility, and dex plus 35%, crit and pen damage plus 15%, and physical resist and magic resist plus 20%. Overall, I think she's a good unit. And as someone was discussing with me yesterday, I'm sorry I forget your name in the comments. It does give the vibe that potentially in part 3 there will be some follow-up dark units to contribute to a meta change in PvP. Now, this is just an assumption. It's a hypothesis. It does sort of lean that way because at the minute, there's no one to go along with her. I mean, Otal could potentially make a comeback in Wargame if... I mean, to be fair, I've come across a couple dark teams already. So, I'm pretty sure if you got her MLB'd and put her on a team with Tione, and Otal, or any combination of that dark team... Even Makoto would probably still do a little bit of work, but I feel like she replaces Makoto in this scenario because of that skill one. But I'm pretty sure dark teams would kind of see a little bit of a comeback, if not a large comeback. I mean, I don't think they beat light magic rush teams still, but we'll see. Do I think she's a good unit? Yes, I think she's a good unit. Very good unit. I can probably see a temporary shift in the meta. I don't see her being... Wait, let me rephrase this. She could potentially be meta changing based on that skill one just because of the buffs and debuffs. At the minute, we have a 35% agility debuff modifier, but in one skill, she debuffs and buffs a lot. So, and it is more than just agility that's important in Wargame. So you have to keep that in mind when looking at all of this. Overall, it's a hard unit for me to judge, I think, given that I'm not very well versed in Wargame. So you guys that have this is perfect opportunity. You guys that are actually well versed in Wargame, if you have opinions or thoughts to share with people like myself who are less experienced or less learned in Wargame, share them down below. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think she's going to be meta changing, defining, whatever? I don't think it's going to change my opinion on summoning or not, but it would be very helpful for those who do not have that knowledge. Anyway, we're going to move on because I've spent a long fucking time talking about Ryu, but I feel like she's a unit that needed discussing a little bit. Okay, the Transfiguration Lily Ruka. Okay, overall, she has a pretty high value just because she looks different. She probably will still have the same CP, level and stuff as the original Lily because it's not a completely new name. She's still Lily Ruka. There's no extension or, fuck, I forgot what they were called. There's no change in the name there, so she probably will still be using the same CP level. Anyway, so the stats overall are okay. Agility is pretty good and Dex is good, but okay, we're gonna say it right here. Minus 20% water resist and guard rate is extremely good. I'm pretty sure what we have in game so far, the highest we have is 15% debuff, so it does bump up that water debuff somewhat. I don't think a crazy amount. Like if you've got, like me, I've got yellow chick or yellow duck Hestia. I don't know what the fuck she's called. If you have yellow duck Hestia or yellow chick Hestia, whatever she's called, for me, I'm not going to swap out. I'm not going to summon to replace her because she also applies a strength buff and has really high strength stat and all that. I would say that I prefer the yellow chick Hestia over this Lily based on stats. The addition of a slow resist for Wargame is extremely powerful because, well, it doesn't... Put it this way, if you're slowed, you're going last. Let's put it, going last would put you on the losing end of any exchange. There is RNG to say that you may win depending on the team power difference. Like if you're heavily overpowering the enemy team, then yeah, slowed or not, you're still going to win. But if you're against an even footing team and they slow you, chances are heavily in their favor that they're going to beat you. So having slow resist on this, given the current water units that we're seeing dominate fucking, King 1, but speaking from my experience, between King 1 and Jester 3, there was a fuckload of water units. The new Aisha and Bell combo is so strong. Add, what's her name? The new blonde goddess. I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. I forgot her name. Add her to that combination with the 35%, damage increase as well. So much fucking damage for a water team. But overall, I think she's good as well. The stats are okay. What she applies for Wargame specifically is very, very good, but it is Wargame specific. The only thing you would really be taking... Okay, tell a lie. The slow resist and the water resist debuff would work really well for Record Buster as well, because sometimes being slowed can be the difference between, getting your higher score or getting demolished on turn 14. But like, obviously she's clearly Wargame oriented. These are tricky ones for a lot of people, I would imagine. But given that the current state of my water team, my water setup, I am easily able to skip this banner altogether. I was thinking about doing a one and done, but doing a one and done literally gives me nothing. I mean, this is how torn I am right now. Like, I'm probably gonna flip a coin to decide whether I do a one and done or whether I skip. I already know, like, 100% I'm not going all in and investing heavily in this banner regardless of what happens. That's what I'm doing. And if you're in the same scenario as me, you're not really quite at 4K or above that for the next part, because keep in mind, part 3 of the anniversary is coming, and they probably will drop a surprise banner on us, because that's how they're going to get a lot of their money this year. You know, people are going to think, oh yeah, I've got 8K for the banners, I'm okay, and then drop a third banner, and oh shit, I've got to find 4K iris from fucking somewhere. And that is a big thing you have to keep in mind. These banners are designed to make you spend money later on. These are bait banners, which is why they are somewhat complex in trying to decide whether they are worth summoning for or not. If you have the iris to spare, they are worth it. If you don't, they probably aren't worth it given when they're coming out, because when banners come out is an important thing you need to think about at the same time. So, like, you know, I've been saying this since before anniversary, like, you know, someone on this banner, someone on that banner. No, look, it's right before anniversary. Why would you? You know, and it's the same thing here. This is a break period. This was a grace period, an opportunity for you to save for part 3, so you don't have to get shafted in this anniversary like some people did in the last anniversary. Anyway, given that, I'm gonna flip. You know what? Do I have a coin with me? Do I have a coin with me? I don't think I do, but you know, I do. Oh, I knocked over my drink. Okay, so heads I summon, tails I skip. Okay, so I'm doing a one and done, and that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Whatever the fuck you're doing today, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the game. I'll catch you next time.